Hello, everybody.
Hello everyone, how are we all?
We are here and we're online.
We are here, we are here, we are here.
There's 12 of you lovely people already online waiting for us.
Excellent. 12 of you.
We've got Drop Bear, Mr. Marlowe, Mr. Morph, Ildefonse Lazor, Mr. Collins. Matt, haven't seen you for a while. Excellent. Our numbers will be triple what they normally are.
Beat in twice.
Hey, who someone has their fan, they do. Sorry, I'll turn off in a minute. Anthony Boyd's here. Milky Paints is hello. Hello, hello.
All our fans have tuned in. Pete's always trying to turn his fans on.
Hey. Somebody has their fan on. Hopefully mine isn't too. Don't know if it's still very annoying. I can't hear it. Nothing's registering on mine, so.
Milky's is on. I haven't got a fan, but I've got the door open. Might hear birds cheeping.
I'm not sure if it's
Bit late now, might not.
I'm using a different microphone tonight because I couldn't be bothered to get my Razor one out of the box, basically. So.
What? Have you got your razor? Have you got your razor every bloody 5 minutes? Have you got your razor? Have you got your razor? Your razor working?
What?
Why did you get bothered to get yours out of the box?
Why did you sound like what's his name?
Wife. Husband, I mean, because I am one.
Fine, I'll get out of the box. Only because people are saying there's a fair bit of Matt background noise. Fine.
A fair bit. Looking forward to winter. What his jumper selection is awesome. I think like you've seen them all now, Andrew. I'm not sure I've got much left. But I have lost weight, so maybe I'll need to get some new ones.
I've gained weight, so maybe that'll help. Hey, what about that? Is that any better? Oh, I can't hear you at all now, Robin. Why is that gone? Why is that doing that, eh? Because my settings, this is what happens when you change things midway through. Hold on. Say something now, Robin.
Say something now, Robin.
There we go.
Brilliant. Okay.
And hopefully everybody can still hear me, and you can hear me now.
You've got much fainter.
Have I? People are bloody happy. Bloody hell.
Anyway, you're just about here.
Can everybody hear Robin and myself now? Hopefully so.
Matt Collins is shouting in the chat. You want me to... The constant weird blowing sound.
That's not me. It's not. I mean, it might be the fact that
there is a faint hum from outside here, but I don't even think that can be it.
It could be the fact that because if I mute my...
You're not out running, are you, VJ?
Being chased by a swarm of bees. It could just be the fact that
anybody who's tuned in to watch is now completely gone.
It's got. They like. I don't know what these.
Just been.
Don't know what these
idiots.
fucking idiots
Not
are
anybody
on
who's
about.
tuned in. Whatever you've done has fixed it.
Raw.
And yeah, we've got 12 of you lovely people watching. So hello. Hope you're all good. Whatever you did then, Pete. Fixed. Oh, he's gone.
Sorry. Back.
Oh, he's back.
The dog won't shut up. The dog won't shut up. Look, it's a dog. It's the channel mascot. Flying dog.
Hang on a minute, I didn't sign off on a dog being a channel mascot. We've got more negotiations than that.
Who knows? Who knows?
I want a crab or a fish.
A frab or a crush?
Crab or a fish.
Can we stick some pretend claws on her and then call her a crab dog? Could we have dogfish? It's a dogfish?
Dogfish, yeah.
I'm basically just... I'm dog sitting whilst the wife is in the shower. That's why. And the dog won't shut up because she knows that she's in the shower. She's like, I want to get out of the room. Can't. You can't. That's what. So we're here tonight.
In. Good times of joy, Dave.
Hello. Hello.
Missed 10 minutes. Well, not quite 10 minutes.
Nonsense.
Of waffle.
Absolute nonsense at the start. So we're here tonight to talk about what's going to come up now. Now Direchasm's out completely. What do we do?
and
it.
also a bit about
Pack up.
Dominion. Yeah, we're done. Screw it. That's it. Sharp shop. Does anybody want? Does anybody have a preference on which one we talk about, Dominion or Direchasm? Shout in the comments, and we'll see what people say. VJ says I did something, changed it, and then changed it straight back. Well, what I did was I muted it. So, see, if I mute it now, I don't think people will hear.
He's muting it, but nobody hear him. I don't think he hear me. I don't know what he's muted. I assume he's only muted his own feed. Technical problems.
And now I've turned it back on
101.
again. And I think that what people can hear is possibly the fact that said wife is having a shower in the next room, where the bathroom, which is next door. And I think that's that's the noise. Now that'd be more like a waily, screamy kind of noise. So it might go in a minute.
Okay. She's going to start singing when we hear her singing Highway to Hell or something.
You probably hear, well, you can hear dog whimpering noise, and that's the dog right now, but if you hear like a dog howling noise, then that would be her singing. Anyway, I think we'll have to crash on. Hopefully that noise will disappear once
we have a
she's
vote
finished.
for Direchasm. I didn't actually hear the question, but I assume that is what do we talk about, Dominion or Direchasm?
Direchasm first or yeah. Which one? I tried to be funny with my thumbnail and try and put it in let's talk about double Ds, but yeah.
You've done D&D. That could have really confused everybody.
Yeah, that would have been great. But no, I was too fixated on the double Ds joke, and then I just lost it.
I thought that's what you were alluding to. But
yeah, because I'm puerile and childish.
Yeah, your cup floweth over, as it were.
It does in that respect, at least.
That's that weight loss thing we've been talking about again. Dog chat, please. Well, I know nothing about dogs, so when I'm happy to go.
Rob doesn't like dogs.
I don't really like dogs. Your dog is very cute. I'll give it that.
She's being hard
I'm
done
the
by
last person on earth that does not like dogs. I think it feels like it. It feels like I've been betrayed by everybody I know.
There's not many people.
Dogs.
There's not many people that I know that don't like a dog. Just need this one to calm down until the wife finishes and gets out of the shower so she can come take the
That
dog
one is
back.
very cute. I will give you that. Anyway, we should probably talk about Direchasm before everybody leaves.
Yeah. Sorry. So we're going to talk about Direchasm Foist. So now everything's out. We've got the fish elves out. They're now there. I don't think that from what's come out, it's actually fixed or given any more options to play the Hunger game, the Hunger token game at all with anybody. There were no sort of, oh god, now that makes Hunger, awesome.
Makes it click.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything like that. So Hunger seems to be one of those mechanics which it's like it's okay. Vampires are probably the only ones that can really try it, and there isn't really that many options to go with it other than sit in the backfield and hope that you can score enough of your big ones before people get across the board at you.
Yeah. Andrew says, first it was not drilling gun barrels and now you don't like dogs. I will just say I have been bitten twice and chased twice in 4 separate incidents by dogs. So it's a two-way thing.
In my defence,
and I didn't start it.
In my defence, Robin wore bacon-flavoured perfume. I couldn't help myself. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good reason to not like them.
Lazarus is here. Hi, Lazarus.
Mark Rose says reminds him of Sprocket, and I keep calling her Sprocket because she does remind me of Sprocket from Fraggle Rock. Remember the dog? There was a dog in Fraggle Rock. Yeah. Definitely looks like that. Anyway. So yeah, I'm not sure really what now to expect with Direchasm. Well, now we know Direchasm's out. I guess there will be that standard whittling down of top end cards and what are the best.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit. It's that kind of. It's that thing where I don't think we're going to get another card pack. So there's nothing to come out now after the last warband to actually go.
That was going to be my next question. Do you think they're going to drop something in between now and I don't know what it's going to be called?
There we go then. I mean,
Spire Chasm.
Laura Bates has just arrived. Laura, welcome aboard. You've managed to miss all of the worst of the IT chaos and dog talking.
Literally no point in turning up before now. So well done.
Pretty much. Yeah, perfect timing. We said that about 5 minutes ago, and the last person just joined. So you know that who knows, we're ever going to be in another 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Do we think that there's going to be another card pack? Shout out in the comments. I'm not convinced there will be.
Well, I'm not convinced they will be, but I feel like that they will be because of that.
Yeah,
There's
the
absolutely no need for one.
the good old fashioned,
Other than-
you know, they'll do exactly the opposite.
Other than that, they'll do one. Difficult to judge because the release schedule has been so completely food-barred. Yeah, that is true. Maya spasm. I hope not. No, people don't seem to think so. Well, Laura says she hopes not. Angie doesn't think so. But I would have said the same about Arcane last year. I wouldn't have thought they'd have needed Arena Mortis.
That's true. Although
So,
we did know Arena Mortis was coming.
sorry?
Because we did know Arena Mortis was coming.
At some point, but usually
Yeah.
at some point we didn't. If you see what I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
can't
they-
remember the schedule of when they did they announce it before the end of Beastgrave. I can't remember. Can't remember that far back.
I can't remember either. It was part way through Beastgrave. I think they released they released that sort of roadmap of the warbands and the releases and stuff. But yeah, I can't
Matt
remember.
makes the point. He doesn't think they will because they've done the essentials and the starter. Yeah, that possibly. But the extra little packs have never been anything quite as big of that, have they? I just don't know. Only possibility is an Arena Mortis analog. Yeah, I think that's I would expect it only to be something like that, or
I would think
maybe
not.
a summer gift pack. Bit of sun cream, reprint of Distraction, a pink colada, a couple of umbrellas for Moloch.
I really hope they don't release anything. To be honest, it's just
That's my
We've
summer
had
holiday
enough
gift
cards.
pack. Cliff Richard on the front, superimposed over Moloch's face. Ideal.
Laura says if you wouldn't mind an Arena Mortis update, it's a bit broken with some of the Season 4 stuff. I mean, I think Arena Mortis was fine. I kind of feel like they should have kept the Arena Mortis stuff and the regular Underworld stuff separate. So
Yeah.
that you could have your Arena Mortis game with your ridiculously overpowered cards and your, you know, chance to kill someone on a crit when your fighter dies, all that kind of crazy ass batshit nonsense and all that stuff. But it should have, and you could bring in Underworld's cards, but I don't think you should have been able to go the other way, personally. Because I think they really pushed the aggro meta when that came out.
I would agree. I say I agree. I mean, we barely played it because we haven't played. We've been playing Vanguard pretty much for a very long time. So we haven't played them very much. But partly the reason that we didn't play it was because, in particular, I didn't really like the way they made the game work.
I think shortly after, when Arena Mortis came out, it was around about the time when lockdown was happening and everything, wasn't it? So we played a few games online with the patrons, but that was about it, and it just wasn't wasn't really that interesting to us.
I might have misunderstood what Laura was saying. Actually, did you mean the actual Arena Mortis game itself as an experience? I was talking about. Thought we were talking about Underworlds as a whole with the Arena Mortis cards in it as the universal. Because I feel like they didn't add anything to the game for me anyway. But the games we played of Mortis were great, but we haven't played Mortis for quite some time, so I couldn't really comment on whether the what effect it has on.
Sorry, Laura didn't mean playing.
But I can imagine there's an awful lot. There feels like a lot more plus accuracy upgrades now to break it.
Laura said that she did mean playing Arena Mortis. So I mean, the good thing about Arena Mortis is you can play it even when it rotates out when we get the next seasonal. There's nothing stopping you playing it anyway. Still, there's not really like.
Although if it does
official
break
or-
with the Darkchasm cards, it's perhaps less good.
Mark
It's
said
funny
what-
that it's broken with the season 4 cards because you have access to all iterations of the game, don't you? For it, I think we'd
Yeah, that's true.
tithe counters. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit. Yeah, I guess you're going to get 2 tithe counts every time you kill someone, and then you can use that to boost your damage, then kill someone again, and get 2 tithe counters again. Yeah, maybe. I suppose.
How does it work if you just play without that mechanic?
Yeah, Yeah, you could say no tithe counters or something like that.
Yeah.
Would hunger make a difference in that game? I feel like not. But it's hard to tell. But then those kind of games are just silly anyway, so I guess you're playing that kind of game in a group of...
But wouldn't you
mates.
lose your hunger counters when you died? Whereas you wouldn't.
Yeah, true.
I don't know, do you not lose the tithe counters when you die?
No, because they're a warband thing that you keep hold of.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know, maybe... Yeah, you could say if you did, then that would certainly completely render them moot. Although I guess Special K could probably... he could probably stay alive for quite a while if he wants to.
He's pretty good, isn't he? Although obviously he wouldn't get many upgrades to start off with.
Sorry.
BJ says he's interested in Crawl Boys for Season 5. I really hope we get a Crawl Boys warband. I think. So Laura said tithe counters aren't on the fighters, so they decided they would keep accruing. Be easy to house roll though. Yeah, I think especially only going from your experience. If they break the game, then I wouldn't bother playing with them. But
or just immediately say when you die you lose them all, any that you've accrued.
Yeah. You die pretty regularly in Arena Mortis. It was really fun, the games we played.
Coming up to season 5 next. I mean, I think it's almost guaranteed we're going to get Crawl Boys as a warband.
Crawl Boys versus some funky spearmen.
Yeah, I like those spearman models.
Yeah,
I didn't
really
like
cool.
the original. I didn't like the original Rynos Stormcast, but they've made the new ones varied enough and better. They're just better overall, I think.
Yeah, fortunately with the redesign of Stormcast armor, we're bound to get a Stormcast warband in Season 5's ways of release slot. Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I really quite like the new Stormcast aesthetic. But I just where I feel like Stormcast has been let down, and I think Wolf and Gaz pretty much just said the same thing as what I've just said. That I think that the warband design hasn't been very interesting for them, especially the later ones, Condemners and the what do you call it? I can't remember what they're called. Stormer Celestus, tedious. They're just not that interesting. Whereas hopefully we'll get something a bit more interesting with the new Stormcast. Maybe, who knows?
I'm hoping we see a mix. I said this before. I just hope we get like 3 different Stormcast types, like one with a spear with a ranged attack, maybe one of the casty ones to be your caster in the group, and then one of those great big chunky dudes, and.
I think they might be a bit solid, maybe.
Yeah, but you could, I still reckon you could do it. Make the 2 lower dudes 4 wounds and make the big chunky dude a 5 wound fighter, but make him like a movement of 2 instead of 3. Not all the Stormcasts have to have the same stat GW. Let's mix it up a bit.
I would actually really love, and of course they won't possibly do this, but I would love it if they did a Age of Sigmar Soulbound tie-in. So you had like effectively a party of adventurers. So they picked some of the archetypes from that and made a warband out of them, and said they were adventuring somewhere. And that could include a Venator or I don't know. I can't remember what other classes there are for the Stormcast, but they could have a couple of Stormcast or one Stormcast and then some other kind of order factions. But that'd be interesting. What else have we got here? We've got Clan Sky Morphers Wanted. Yes, I'm pretty sure that we'll get a new Skaven warband this time round, because it's a long time since we've got one.
Yeah, since season 1. And possibly even Chaos Dwarves.
Sorry?
Possibly even Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, Chaos Dwarves. Somebody else has said that. Yes, I think they've been alluded to in the lore, haven't they? I wouldn't mind seeing something from Warcry, some of the original cool Warcry Chaos warbands being brought in. They've got the Shadow Elves. Are they in Warcry? Did they bring them out for Warcry? They'd be interesting. Or any of the warbands. My mind has gone completely blank. All I can remember is the Iron Golems. They're probably the least interesting of the ones that they brought out. But they had the snaky ones and the sort of high offy ones. Any of those would be cool.
They might be a bit. There was the ones, I can't remember what any of them were called. There was the Corvus warband. There was the Beast ones, and then there was the ones that flayed the unmade, the ones that flayed their own
Yeah.
faces off and stuff. They were quite cool.
I wouldn't want to see too many, but one would be great.
But then it would be like a rehash of Godsworn, wouldn't it? Godsworn Hunt, in a way.
Well, there's no bad thing. That's no
No,
bad thing.
no, to be
They were
honest.
good.
A
Of
multi-fighter.
course, if you listen to some people on the internet, they might be rotating out anyway.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they do rotate out of Season 1 2. If they do, that gives them a lot of options again to remake things. They could remake the Reavers. They could remake Severin Stormcast with the new Stormcast models and have a similar sort of 3 fighter setup in a slightly better way.
Although we don't want a 3 fighter setup.
I don't mind a 3 fighters. I wouldn't
Okay.
mind a Stormcast setup with 3 fighters as long as they were 3 varied fighters and it wasn't just... I mean, the very first Stormcast fighter warband, Severins, they were all different. There was a bit of variety there and you had different tools for different jobs, but later on they were just all carbon copies, 3 of the same thing almost.
Yeah. Stormcast Morph says are inherently personalityless. I think I think Games Workshop have realised that maybe, and this change in the law and them basically becoming more like actual people. I think is a way to try and get around that. I think.
I mean, the
They
way they've
realise.
written the law is they lose their personality, their self, as they get remade each time.
Yeah, but they can't be remade now, can they? Or some of them can't. I don't fully understand it, but they can't get it back. They missed the last bus home.
Can they not?
Sigmar's last bus home or something. The night tube.
I missed that.
And so some of them have to stick around or something. But then there is a way. There is like a Charlie in the Chocolate Factory glass elevator or something they could take to get back. I think that's what I read, something like that.
It sounds like how GW would have written it.
The big glass elevator and some lightning, definitely some lightning, and a sacrosanct chamber. There must be.
Some kind of chamber. Matt Collins
That's 100% accurate, Robin. There you go.
Matt says he can imagine the Shadow Elves, Malarians, Ulgu Elves being released in 3.0, and I hope that we do see those in Underworlds as well.
Yeah.
Morphars have their
Cities of
Rynos.
Sigmar warband and an Order of Azir Cities warband, maybe. Yeah. Well, either of those would be pretty cool. Definitely like to see some Cities of Sigmar stuff. That kind of fits with the evolution of the lore in AOS 3. I don't know how connected they are. Somebody said that somewhere about the scheduling.
Yeah, yeah. They've got to be connected, right? I mean, the Underworlds peoples must know what the regular AOS setup is, because I presume that quite often, or I'm guessing, that the plan they have in place is we're doing this for AOS, so as a result we're going to have some offshoots of that, and we're going to do these things for Underworlds that are kind of tangentially related.
And they're called blocked off Azir, so the Lost Souls couldn't escape, but then Sigmar just gave the Stormcast, you can escape now, socks, and that was that. That's effectively effectively what I was talking about.
BJ asks, have they removed
range refresh?
Morphast, have they removed the OP resurrection mechanic they had in AOS? I don't remember Stormcast having a resurrection mechanic, but maybe they did at some point. I wasn't really that into it, so hopefully somebody else can respond and actually say.
8 warbands that were only very loosely based on existing factions would be Mark Reynolds' absolute favourite. The Inquisitor warband versus Chaos Cult versus Leader of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, that would be. I mean, Witch Hunters we could see. That would be cool. Would that tie in maybe to Cities of Sigmar? Maybe, I don't know. But a Witch Hunter, an Underworld Witch Hunter model would be pretty cool, or even a whole warband of them.
Yeah, we've had the vampires, so.
Sorry?
We've had the vampires, so
Yeah.
be whatever comes next.
Yeah.
I mean, there are just so many options, and thinking of all the previous seasons, the warbands that they brought out, they were mostly all a pleasant surprise for the most part, especially season 3 and 4. There were a few in season 2 where it was like, ugh, not really sure about that. But most of the others in season 3 and 4 have been like, ooh, I like what they've done with that, options. Apart from maybe the starter set for me anyway, the Direchasm starter set.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think all of the Season 4 warbands have got something interesting about them. But I guess that kind of ties into being more confident in the product that they're designing and they're building, because the Shadespire warbands are very kind of flat in comparison. Maybe a few tricks, but the models are quite archetypal, and there's nothing too exciting is the wrong word, because it was exciting at the time, but now they're kind of more interesting as well. They do still reflect where AOS is at, and we got the new Lumineth warband, which kind of tied in with the Lumineth release, and there was Slaves to Darkness got to upgrade this kind of season as well, didn't they? So I suppose maybe it's just the same. It just feels more interesting. Maybe it's because they've got all the extra mechanics. I'm guessing we can probably expect some tokens in Season 5.
It's interesting. I'm trying to think how many Order warbands there were in this season. There was the Elves and the Lizards. Is that about it? I guess the Lumineth as well. So 2 different sets of Elves and Lizards. So there were three Order. There was 2 Death, because there were the Skellies and the Vampires. And then there was the Orcs for Destruction, and then there were 2 Chaos. So fairly level. Well, the Destruction only got 1 with the Orcs. Destruction get left out.
And you've got an extra Order and Death on this with the Storm of Celestus.
True, yeah. Order and Death seem to be the big ones. They don't seem to do very much in the way of Destruction.
Destruction needs a bit of variance, doesn't it? Hi Valentin, hi Joseph. I think because Destruction is like Orcs. Oh, I mean Hrothgorn, I guess, but
yeah,
Orcs, and more Orcs. And I guess the Git and Ripper.
Oh, there's loads. Oh well, never mind.
Yeah, they don't need any more. No, but I think they're probably the least represented, aren't they?
I think so overall, because I think you just listed all the Destruction factions. There weren't any. There was 1 Distraction faction in Season 1. In 2 there was 2. In 3 there was 2. So actually they're pretty evenly, a little below average, because there's only 1 in Season 4.
Yeah.
Just reading Morph's comments here.
Skaven, Dwarves and Demons are the most neglected. All have room for more varieties of amazing sculpts. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing some Demons come into the game. The Dwarves, yeah, they are sadly lacking, aren't they? They are sadly lacking. Well, I guess, I don't know what GW, I don't really know anymore what GW have done with the Dwarves.
Laura says she wants to get a Nurgle Demon warband. I would love
she reckons there might be one.
She reckons we might get one. I would love one. I don't see us getting one though, because we had a Nurgle warband in Season 3.
Better Khorne Demon warband. We haven't never really Khorne warbands recently.
No, I guess not. Do we want them though?
Well, probably not. But that used to be. I mean, they moved away from that. There used to be everything. Everything was Khorne all the time.
Yeah.
But especially, I mean, if they did rotate out Season 1 and 2, which obviously I'm going to say that, mention that again, that would be we'd lose Magors and Reavers.
Yeah, that is true. Be a massive gap there for a new Khorne warband. I'd miss my Garrix, I think. Although whether it could be argued that the Coven are a good replacement for them, I don't know.
I'm not sure. Chaos had 3 this game. I try and remember what. Yeah.
I still feel like Skaven should be part of Destruction. I know it probably doesn't fit from a lore point of view, but Skaven always feel more Destruction to me than Chaos.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, I find the whole silos of factions a bit naff anyway.
Especially when you end up with things like Dark Elves in with High Elves, effectively.
I can see how they see why they did it at the start, but it feels like that they probably regret that now.
Yeah,
it was probably
But they've kind of made their bed, and they're like, oh fuck, we can't can't really undo this very easily. Although one of the things you said the other day about the fact that you enjoyed the lore was ever changing and was actually shifting around a lot more in AOS as opposed to Warhammer. There's nothing saying they couldn't say, the Skaven have got fed up being stuck at the bottom of the ladder on the Chaos side of things, and they've defected over to Chaos or something like that, to destruction.
Did everybody hear my son yelling then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, have the group stream drawn yet? Rosa says.
Not
We'll
yet,
do that in a
wasn't it?
minute. We haven't drawn it yet, Rosa. No. Yeah, you're right. The Skaven do have a more destructive feel. I guess they're generated out of Warpstone, aren't they? Which I guess is where the chaos comes from. But they exist now, so they could definitely diverge.
Yeah. Yeah, I always feel
But
like
it's very odd in a universe which is so crazy and varied as Age of Sigmar that they then have this kind of
stick things in
pigeonhole.
4 buckets. Yeah, one of 4 buckets. You're one of these, and that's it.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
The biggest ones for me is the fact that things like the Shadow Elves or Dark Elves and that they are order. Like, no, why are they order? Just no.
They're basically order because they don't fit in the other buckets.
Exactly.
Their order is the least bad fit.
I don't know. I would say they still fit in Chaos better because they worshipped Cain, which was a faction of Khorne.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they bathe in buckets of blood. I mean, I just don't see.
But
that.
very orderly buckets of blood.
I think more like Morph said, they lumped them into Chaos as they decided to make the Horned Rat a Chaos God. I think that's what happened with Skaven, and then they went with the Elves. Oh well. At the end of Warhammer, at the end of the old world, they kind of went. All the elves got back together and shook hands and said, "We won't be nasty to each other anymore." And so they were all kind of on the same side again. But you've still got like the Blade Coven, which sacrifices everyone.
As Marathi just left the Alliance of Order, something like that. I think
it'd be interesting if she has, because where are they?
She's certainly not on Sigmar's side anymore, is she?
Where are they going to put her? Are they going to start breaking up those big alliances?
The last Broken Realms book had lots of stuff on this, but she doesn't want to spoil it, says Laura. That's fair enough. I read the Warhammer community articles about it. Try and catch up. But, I haven't read any of the books in detail.
That's one of the downsides, of course, of having the lore ever changing stuff, is that you can very easily lose track of where everything is. Oh, what's that you've got there, Robin? It doesn't even say on the front cover what it is.
It doesn't say on the front cover what it is, does it?
That's the limited edition one, isn't it?
Yeah. So the Dominion one doesn't have what it is on the front, because you already know.
There we go. Flog that on eBay. Make a bit of money on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I should do that really. It's a very nice book. It's very like the Indomitus one, funnily enough. It's really lovely.
It's one thing GW do very well at is polishing those turds to be sparkly. Although in this case it's a bit unfair to call it a turd, but it is, they can make just a book look amazeballs.
Yeah, very much so.
Valentin says, controversial question. It is a controversial question. Why do you call yourselves agents of Sigmar when you seem to prefer all the other grand alliances? We were stuck for a YouTube channel name. Yeah,
we were stuck for a name, and I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time.
Yeah, so it should be Agents of Sigmar, all uppercase, with like full stops in between each of the letters.
That's how it happened. We were trying to think of something to call ourselves so that we could. Well, they're just calling ourselves Robin and Pete.
Yeah, and we never did come up with like an acronym for the Sigmar bit. Which,
no.
It was like, oh yeah, it could mean something. We could make it into something, and we never did, because that's what we're like.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are. Yeah, we've never found a better name. We thought about changing it on several occasions.
Filthy
but
Casuals.
never have.
Filthy Casuals for a
Filthy
while.
Casuals, yeah, we got to change ourselves to the Filthy Casuals. And then we were going to just become AOS at one point. I thought we should do, but then in the end, we are Agents of Sigmar. I don't think we'll ever change now. It won't be right if we didn't start saying hello AOS fans. That would be.
It wouldn't seem right.
No.
Plus, if we changed it all now, then we'd have to restart all the channels, and we'd never gain any followers again.
Pajamas Gagarin said we have which one Hunter Warband name, Agents of Sigmar. If only if we were in a bit more with Games Workshop, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? If they actually called them the Agents of Sigmar. If you're listening, Games Workshop, yeah, we'll do it. Filthy Casuals might attract a whole different audience. True, but if they were prepared to just sign up to Patreon, that would be fine.
I mean, I'm not saying that we'll do anything for money, but it's close. It's pretty close.
Next month's Patreon competition, make an acronym for Sigmar. Yes,
That's
brilliant
not
one,
a bad
Milky.
idea. Yeah, that's going to be next month's
Yeah, we
competition.
will definitely do that.
We did wonder about it
Definitely.
for a while, but I think because when we started Necromunda and stuff, we're like, well, this doesn't really fit with Agents of Sigmar. Necromunda doesn't fit with it, and they were doing God tier and stuff as well. I was like, it doesn't really fit, but at the same time, it's like, it's too late now. It's been 4 years. It's just too late, and we can't change all the channels.
Most people who watch the channel, and most of the games we play are GW games, so they kind of know. I think they know where we're at.
Yeah.
But yes, write it down so you don't forget.
Don't worry, I'm not going to forget that one. That's a genius idea.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh. Warmer tonight.
Yeah,
Who's
God,
warm?
it's
Who's in a country that's currently warm? Now, I guess we're not warm by Australian standards, but it's warm. We're probably warmer than it is in Australia at the moment. But it's warm tonight.
I was reading a post by someone in Australia. They were going, "It's only 18 tonight. I've got the blanket out and doing this." Like, what is wrong with you? Hits 18 here, and I'm like, glorious.
Yes.
I'm gonna sit
It's
outside.
18, and the whole country's outside cooking their food on the barbecue.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's raining.
Walking around with their shirt off and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's too hot here. But I do every now and then revisit the whole should we rename the channel thing and start wondering about it. But I don't think it matters. The content would stay the same, so who cares?
Yeah. So Pete, we're just talking about the future of Underworld.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever get a future-based Underworlds game?
I wish we did. I wish we would.
Do you think that they would run them both concurrently? Because that's my fear would be that they would. I think they would feel like both games would be overkill. Because you're asking essentially the same people probably
I think
to
yes.
buy in twice.
I think yes, only
Maybe
because we
not.
have Warcry and we have Necromunda, and they're kind of similar areas.
True. I was really thinking because I think it would be very hard for us, for example, to keep up with Baltic Underworld and Warhammer Underworld.
I think Dave Edson says that he thinks they would drop one. I don't know. I mean, it would have to have markedly different.
Good morning, Busy.
It would have to have markedly different rules, functionality. That they wouldn't just carbon copy the game and go, right, we're just gonna have Space Marines and stuff, and it's still going to be effectively Underworlds with instead of hammers and fury, instead of smashes and furies, it'd be just two other names instead. But I think they'd have to make it markedly different.
I'm not sure they would. I think they could keep the core mechanics basically the same.
I don't know how the Betrayal at Calth worked. We never got into that one. But I remember somebody on the Discord, I think, saying that it was actually a really good, solid
I think it's
play.
very different though. I don't think it's remotely comparable. Yeah, people don't just think they run them in parallel. I don't think they would run them in parallel. So in some ways, although I would like a futuristic version, I think it would be interesting. It'd be a really great way to paint some figures that I never get to paint. I'm not sure I want them to, because I don't want them to drop Underworld. But then maybe Underworld is getting, not yet, but maybe we'll get to a point where I don't feel the need for more fantasy warbands with cards. Maybe I would want a futuristic one if it was the same game. I just felt like in some ways they would probably get more take up because I feel like the 40k field, that's the wrong word, but the fan base is bigger.
I don't know between AOS and 40k, but I mean, you look at our Necromunda videos, they definitely get more hits than our Underworlds ones now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I always say an Underworld based game would be great. Mark says he a little bit dreads the 40k version, but the bit that contains his wallet. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it will be all right on the wallet if it was either or, but that would be a double-edged sword because I'd be sad to see Underworlds go in this form.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I think they could. I don't know what they can do to Underworld to really change it up, and I in some ways I don't really want them to because it's it works now. I think they possibly need to retire season 1 and 2, rotate things out a bit. But yeah.
I had an idea today. We were talking about how sometimes when people roll a crit defense, it can be quite a negative experience if you made an attack and you roll 5 dice and then your opponent stops it with a 1 dice crit or a 2 dice crit defense.
Depends on whether you're the defender or the attacker, though.
Yeah, but and then we were saying that one way to make it slightly sweeter, or just sweeten the blow, would be if you had an objective which was, I don't know what it'd be called, but something like impenetrable defense or something, and your opponent rolls a crit defense against your attack action that contains successes or something. So you so you could get a glory back for surge glory for your opponent crit defing you. So you think, well, okay, I haven't got through the attack, but I have at least got a glory, so I can still. I haven't put all my eggs in one basket and got nothing. I have at least got a little bit of something out of it. But then I thought, the problem with those cards like that is they're useless when they're not in your hand, and you've got no control over when it might happen. I suppose they're quite powerful cards. Branching Phase is a similar one. But I wonder whether they could introduce, and I'm not saying they should do this, but I just thought it would be interesting if they could introduce a rule where you could have either you had a bigger objective deck or you had the same objective deck, but you could put 3 of the cards out face up, and they could be scored at any time in the game. And you couldn't replenish them, but they were always there. It'd be an interesting way to take the game, I thought. I was just thinking of ways they could change stuff. So you had, and they could even be specific objective cards. Like you could, they would a new type of objective, face up one. So your opponent knew what you were doing, but you could score them at any time and not have to have them in hand at the time because they effectively were in hand.
They'd just be 3 face ups.
A random musing I had today while making the dinner.
We were discussing about, and Andrew mentions it about the dice chat. I mentioned during that chat that it was I wondered whether it would be better to have a deck of cards for your instead of dice rolls and do it that way. Not necessarily better.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a major mechanical change, and they wouldn't do that. But I think I quite like. Wouldn't mind playing a game like that, but I don't think it'll ever be Underworlds.
Andrew Marlowe is exceptionally excited for Blitzboy grabbing his ball in. So just the one, Andrew, just the one. Grabbing his ball.
Jarman says, guys, GW quite forgot about Kill Team, and you're speaking about making and running a 40k version of Underworlds. It's very unlikely to happen.
Oh yeah, I don't think they'll ever do most of this.
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like in some ways Kill Team is a rule set designed for people who already have the game, whereas Underworlds, 40k version of Underworlds would be a rule set designed for people who don't play the game and want to draw in like, or sort of more like. I think Underworlds was an attempt to grab the Magic Gathering and X-Wing players, and it feels like this would be even more trying to grab the X-Wing players. We have of course got this Aeronautica as well, of course, but I don't know how. I don't think that's comparable to X-Wing, except it has flying planes in it.
Yeah.
The dice chat this morning was really interesting. Andrew says, yes, we had a great chat on our Patreon Discord. So I'm going to plug the Patreon now. If you do join us, even at the £2 level a month, you can join our Discord and have fascinating discussions about dice and food and whether Milky's built a fence today or not. There's all sorts of interesting things, Underworlds and not Underworld related.
Laura says she thinks if they ever reset Underworlds, they'd move it to 40k. Possibly.
I missed that. What was that? Sorry.
Just put the comment in so that if they,
Okay.
she thinks.
I think Laura. I think you're right. I would agree. I would agree with that. Imperialist Flarplanicus. That's right.
I think the problem they had when they did Kill Team is it wasn't really like a kill team. It wasn't tiny little squads or things like that. It was just like small 40k, which I know is what they were going for, but they didn't make the rules small. The rules stayed big and the table got smaller. So you still had about 6... In fact, I think they might have made the rules even more complex. So 40k, they're streamlining, and they were making it easier to work out wound rolls and easier to work out all the dice needs to be rolled and all that kind of stuff. And then Kill Team, they cranked up the complexity. Like, no, just literally take the 40k rules and put them into Kill Team. Maybe make it a we-go system rather than the I-go-you-go system. And then that's what you needed to do. You didn't need to do anything else with it. Because when we tried to play Kill Team, fuck me, that was a pain in the arse. That was just a ball ache when we tried to play that. It's like, I've got to roll some dice, and then I've got to roll some more dice, and then I've got to roll some of these dice to make sure that I've actually done the thing I need to. And then you've got to roll some dice, and then maybe after all those dice have been rolled, my one-shot auto gun guy might kill your one-wound knife-wielding maniac. And that was like, how many dice do we need to roll?
Yeah. I mean, I always feel Kill Team, and I guess it was more for people who already had armies. I feel like for Kill Team to be really successful in my eyes, it needs to have, you buy this box, you buy this Kill Team, and you play the game. And not even Warcry is not like that, and that's why Underworlds is great from my perspective. But even Warcry isn't like that. You can buy a box, and it still isn't enough necessarily to build an army or build a warband. Now, I know people love tinkering with their lists, and I know John Grant, I don't think he's in tonight, but he's built amazing lists with his Underworld figures, so maybe I shouldn't be sort of complaining, I should get on with it. But I feel like, for me, for enjoyment, I want a game a bit like Underworld and God Tier, where you get this box and you play that, and then you can set it up whatever the rule set is, but you haven't got a huge amount of kind of figure hunting and painting up a load of stuff and then changing it, and then people building ridiculous builds because they crack the code or whatever. That's my own personal view. That's why Kill Team never really did it for me, because you couldn't, if you didn't already play 40k, it was very hard to build a decent Kill Team because you had to buy sort of 6 boxes to get the 6 different figures you wanted.
I know Wolfman Gaz says he's enjoyed it and he found it quite fun. I mean, I found that even Necromunda was simpler to play than Kill Team was. And the good thing about Necromunda is you could buy a gang box and you had more models than you would actually need to start within your gang. So, you know.
Necromunda is almost there for me. And I wanted Kill Team to be like that. And I'm really surprised that they didn't. But I guess they needed new sprues to make it work.
Possibly, yeah. The only thing I could think of that they could do to make Warcry and Kill Team better, both cases, not Kill Team, Necromunda better, is to make them hex based. But it's very hard to do that with 3D terrain.
Yeah. Okay, so we have Mark said something interesting as usual. Facebook discussion about improvements to the game. What do people think about this? We're rolling off in rounds 2 and 3, so this is obviously Underworlds now. The player with the least glory gets a bonus crit. Interesting idea.
Bezzy then went on to say that he thinks whoever didn't go first in game 1 should get to choose for round 2. I think that should be the way to do it, to be honest. It makes it a little bit fairer without making it game-breakingly, Yeah,
and I know people are saying, oh, well, that's just the game. And it's the same for everybody, which is true. But I do feel that that would be it's a fairer way to do it. There isn't any... I think
it's a change which doesn't affect the game too much, and it gives both players a chance to feel like they got their they got their say in how they wanted the initial setup to go. I mean, that's
Yeah.
only a very small part of the whole process, but if you're playing a warband where you have to get into your opponent's face and your opponent wins both roll-offs and longboards you both times, that's not fun for anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, you might find that you lose first roll-off and your opponent longboards you. Second game you can place them dead on and you get your turn to play on your terms. You might lose the third roll if you win that second game and be longboarded again, but you at least got one game there where you've got to do things your way.
Yeah. Although there are two slightly different things. There's the roll-off. There's the roll-off for ball position in a best of three, but there's also within the game you've got the roll-off
Oh, I see.
who goes
Yeah.
first as well. So that true, because I mean the amount we played a couple of games recently. I think the last ones we recorded in the garage. I think you run the roll-off 6 times, or however many roll-offs there are.
Yeah, I think I did roll.
I don't think I ever got to choose.
I feel like if you
Which
win
was
the-
fine, but it would be fairer if in the middle turn I actually got to say, well, I think I quite like the idea of getting an extra crit because it doesn't completely give the power over to the person who didn't get to choose last time. It adds an element of randomness, but I think that I also like the idea that basically if you got to choose turn 1, you don't choose turn 2, and then you roll off turn 3. Seems also fair. I would like to see something like that, but I don't know how big a difference it makes to the game. But I suppose I don't play the game that much to really know. If you see what I mean.
Yeah,
The initial roll off that you were talking about being a best of 3, that ball roll off can be huge. Like you say, if you're playing a turtle cast and you don't win a roll off at all, then I know turtle cast doesn't really exist anymore. But that's, if you are playing something like that, then it's very hard to win twice in a row.
I think somebody suggested, it might have been Laura was suggesting that given that people are playing a lot more best of 1 games in the current sort of lockdown world.
Hang on a minute, sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, see you in the morning.
Given that a lot of people have been playing a lot of best of 1 games because of the whole COVID and lockdown world, people haven't got the setup to be able to play best of 3 as much, that people are perhaps a bit more aware of terrible runs of dice because you only get 1 game, and if your terrible dice follow you throughout that 1 game, then that's much more galling than if you play a best of 3 and the terrible dice are there for 1 game, but then they're not there for the next game or whatever. It levels out a bit more, but I mean we've only ever played best of 1, so I couldn't really say.
You do get to see what your deck can do.
Yeah.
Across a best of 3. Whereas you can be just screwed over, as you know, Pete. Your dice just don't work.
Sometimes the dice just say no. Valentin does
It's
argue.
true.
Valentin does argue the point that if you lose the first roll off but you win that first game, then you get to also win the second roll off. It might be a bit too much. Maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
I can see that. An extra
maybe
crit for
just
the lose of the first game. I don't know. It's a difficult one, that one, because at the same time, if it was literally, a bit like hearts in football, you don't. I don't know to make a difference, but you do know at the point at which you've won you win the first coin toss that you won't get to choose second. It will switch round. I don't think the game would have broken if it was that way around. But this first game you will play, you will set boards up. Second game you won't. I don't think is too bad, but I suppose it might make a difference if you lose in the first game. I don't know. Mark says he thinks unpredictability being able to speak is important. Unpredictability is important. You play differently if you know you're acting first or second. Yeah, that's true. But also, I suppose that's again, it's one of those things we talk about changes. It had always been like that. I think you probably think, well, that was part of the game. Knowing that is part that knowledge feeds into your strategy. I think that's kind of okay.
So shall we?
Throw Dice is in. Hello, Throw Them Dice.
Shall we do?
Formerly known as the artist, formerly known as No Beef.
Shall we do? Shall we do the draw for
Yes.
a quick minute?
So I'm not sure how many of our finalists, or not finalists, knockout stagists we have in the house tonight for the draw. Rosa was around. Bezzy82, I assume, is John. So he's here. Valentin, did you get through this time? Did you play this time? I don't
He
know what's going on.
played, I believe, but he didn't get through. So
Well, you win then, Bezzy. He's here.
there we go. Right, so I'm gonna pick the first 4 people I pick. I'm going to be. So the way we ran this is we have 16 people going through to knockouts. The last 4, because we only had 6 groups, so we've obviously taken the winner and the runner-up from each group, but that then gives us 4 spaces. So we took the 4 runners-up who were the closest, you know, the best 4 third places effectively from the groups. So I'm going to be picking the first 4 names from the winners slash second place from the groups, and I'm going to draw the 4 names to go against them from our 4, you know, third place runners up that have come into the group, of which one I was meant to be, but I figured that was a bit unfair because one of my wins was against somebody who didn't actually get a chance to play the game, so it was a default win. So I've taken me out and we put in.
We've actually won 2 games.
Yeah, so I put in Solomnik because he actually played all his games, so I think that's only fair.
Who gets picked underpants in the post? Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. So yeah, somebody asked what we're drawing for. So it's for our Patreon League. Another club of Patreon coming up. Yes, you can join if you're a member of our Patreon. You can join our TTS tournament we have running. We get 30 odd people each season for that. Season 4 will be along soon.
Yeah, and that'll be.
But at the moment we're trying to get the knockout stages of season 3. So that's what we're drawing. So
next season 4 is going to be pure Vanguard.
Pure Vanguard.
And then I think after that we're going to.
Am I going to play the spoilers in Pure Vanguard?
Oh, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Which 6 fighter warbands are there in? I can just play with the despoiler models.
The Bony Boys. The Lizards.
The Bony Boys.
What the Lizards?
He's not quite the same size, is he? Anyway, let's make the draw.
Yes,
go, Pete,
right.
go.
Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to draw the first 4, and these are the ones that are going to go up against the runners-up, which I'll then pick in a minute. So the first name we have is Rosa. So I'm just going to write these down as we go. Let me just quickly write that down. So we've got Rosa. The next one is Steve. The next one is Ildefonse. He's in the channel.
Is that Steve?
No, Ildefonse.
Oh, Ildefonse.
Ildefonse is definitely. I've seen him on the chat tonight.
Okay.
And the last one is.
Oh, these are the 4.
These are the 4 that are going to be up against someone else. And Banjo. Oh.
Banjo. Oh, he's a good player.
Yes. So the next one.
He's a good player I've lost to. I've lost to lots of good players. And lots of people who are less good.
In a minute I shall pick who their opponents are, but now I'm just going to go through the remainder and pick 2 names at a time, and they're going to be playing off against each other. So the next person is. Who have we got? Anoxia. And he is, or they are playing off against John Bezzy.
Oh.
I don't know if those 2 have fought each other before. They might have done. No, apologies if you have. Syntax error is going
Don't
to be.
tell me is good. Well, Bezzy, you're good too, because I lost to both of you. So you're both fine Underworlds players. Actually, our game against John. Don't know if you won't have watched it because it's Patreon only. Was an absolutely cracking Underworlds game. I enjoyed that far more than playing Pete.
How rude.
Oh, sorry, I forgot you were still on. You're busy.
RG is playing Kelso.
Or RG, another person I lost to. It's like a whole list of people I've lost to. Basically, if I've played you, then I probably lost you.
And D Brown beat me quite. He's up against, I'm guessing, Townsy because he's the last one in the list.
I gotta say,
Just same. Okay, so those are our pairings. Let me just now grab the other 4 names from our list. So Svinen, Solomnik, Olib, and Maliki. So now
very exciting.
Now we've got to pick for who's going to be
Should
playing
do it with
Rosa.
a big spinny airball thing next time, though.
I'll try and find that next time. So, this is to play against Rosa, who's up against Mollog.
Mollog. Boo.
It's Svinen. Svinen, you're up against the Mollogs. Next person to play against Stee. And it is...
That's another Mollog, isn't it?
Olib. It might be. Ildefonse is next, so who's playing Ildefonse? It is Solemnique. Which means that it's Maliki is playing Banjo. So there we go.
Banjo.
If I click it and hit start, we just get Maliki flopping up a lot. Flop, 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 flop. So there we go. So here are, can't quite see it, it's a bit rubbish, but there are the matchups.
Banjo, Townsy, Rob, and are all in real life players. Wow. Yeah.
Same club.
We need a base like that. That'd be great.
We could do with it.
You've got your own channel as well, haven't you guys? I can't remember what it's called.
JMPR.
Sorry?
JMPR. I believe.
Oh, I see.
So there we go, everybody. There are the groupings. See, I was right. It was JMPR. I mean, I am desperately jealous of all of you guys being able to play each other regular, and of the Aussie guys being able to play each other regular as well. Just not fair.
Yeah, I told you, quit your job.
Not that I don't enjoy
Find your
playing
job
against
in
you
for
all the time,
internet
Robin, but I think
stardom.
that we would both benefit.
Just
from
go
having
for it. I
more
mean, I know
players
you
on
need to
the
feed the
players.
kids and the wife and family,
You've
but
lost
just...
your sound, Robin. I think you've
Oh.
muted yourself. Oh no, you're back.
Oh, how
Weird.
strange.
How strange. So there we go. I'm going to post these up in our Discord group whilst we talk. So there we go.
I was just saying you should give up. Maybe that's why you muted me. You should give up work for internet stardom.
I wish. I wish.
And just throw it in. Just risk your family's life, your lives and well-being for internet stardom.
I'm okay with that. If I thought it was there. But that's part of the point, right? You don't know.
You've got to go for it. You've got to reach for it.
Reach for the stars.
Exactly.
We've
We've all got our singing career to fall back on.
Not with my voice at the minute. There we go.
Yeah,
So I posted those in the Discord chat for everybody to see. I would
see about that 80-year-old guy who does meditation and ASMR stuff. I was on the BBC today. Like this 80-year-old guy whose videos have gone viral, millions of views. He's got this sort of really nice, smooth voice. Have a look on the BBC website.
Is that Uncle Atom?
It's impressive.
Is it Uncle Atom? Because that's where he could do that. He has. I don't know what his audio setup is, but he has the deepest, richest audio ever.
Who's that?
Uncle Atom from Mini.
Oh yeah.
It's just yeah. It's a bit like. It's
Well,
like
Justin in the Battlecast is a bit ASMR as well, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's got more like the slightly whispery kind of voice, which
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He should commentate on the snooker.
I'm afraid that just gets on my tits a bit, but it's just the way he talks, and there's nothing personal. It's just I can't listen to that as easily. I don't find that as easy to listen to. Just me. I'm sure a lot of people find
Uncle
me
Atom
incredibly.
has got a rich voice. Before you insult anybody else.
Sorry.
I said Uncle Atom has got a very rich voice. I'll agree with you there. Before you insult anybody else.
I know that I have a very nasally, whiny, loud, high-pitched voice, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like that, and that's fine.
Well, if we're being
too.
honest, I find your beard just stupid as well. But Henry from Cult of Paint. I don't think I've ever listened to Cult of Paint.
No, I don't think I have
I should
either.
do that. Svinung. So I can't remember what warband Svinung's playing, but that's a Molotov on a Molotov playing there. Adam's voice. He's never met. Sorry, VJ says he's met Adam, and his voice is just like that. He has got a. I'm very envious of Uncle Atom because he seems to talk about. I won't say nothing, but
It's
how to
dressed up
describe
nothing.
it. Just very, very casual topics, and yet these videos are just really watchable. I wish I could emulate that. I'd love to emulate that. Our man sounds like Ben Affleck.
I mean,
I'm
American.
going to have to listen to that now. I know. I'm not sure. American.
The thing about
Pete
Uncle
feeling
Atom,
attacked. The beard's like going to be one step too far. I'm sorry. It was the first thing I could think of to attack because it was just right there, all luxuriant and lovely.
I mean, everything else you've got to go for.
I'll
and you go
buy
for
you
the
some
beard.
more beard oil.
I used to use
flavour would you
beard oil
like?
all the time, and I realised it was just a fucking rip-off. Just all a rip-off.
No, it just uses olive oil.
Yeah. One thing I will guess is that Uncle Atom probably spends a lot of time on his videos, the prep of what he wants to talk about and all that kind of stuff. The background
What are you
helps a
saying?
bit, I think. Nothing.
What are you saying? I write notes. I love you now. I can't read them, but I
Simply,
write them.
simply your notes are like. Right, tonight I'm going to be talking about. I don't know.
Ice cream. Oh no. Eyes of the Nine.
Ice cream of the Nile. I don't know why I'm talking about ice cream of the Nile, but there we go. Yeah. I feel like maybe our audio challenges will be much reduced once we get into the studio. I think that's going to be a big boost to
It's
us.
fine. Is Moloch versus Hrothgar. That'll be a good game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. The studio is just waiting for the windows. For those people who want a studio update, just waiting for the windows. They're the thing that are taking the time to arrive. Everything is done. It's not quite painted, but Timothy's in. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Mr. T.
But yeah, we're just waiting for the windows, and they should be. He was hoping they'd be here this week, and they're not going to be here this week, but hopefully next week.
Ooh, next week.
Hopefully,
Because the
I think it is a little bit when they turn up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anybody's got more. Somewhere must have control over it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure who, because everything else has been done by one guy more or less, and then the windows have been ordered in from a window company bizarrely, and they can't get the glass for them at the moment. They've got the frames, but they haven't got the glass yet.
You
So,
ordered
as soon as we get it.
pimped out tinted glass, did you?
Yeah, I did. That's my partner, my fault for getting snazzy glass.
Bezzy has to go. See you later, mate.
Well, see you, busy. Take care. Vija says, I've heard often say he doesn't have a topic on Wednesday night to record on Thursday for a Friday video. Well, yeah, I have topics, but it's finding time to actually sit down and write about them.
Also, not having a topic on Wednesday to record on Thursday for Friday isn't that big a deal. It's when you sit down on the Thursday and you still don't have the topic to talk about. When you sit there setting up the camera thinking, I don't know what I'm going to talk about now.
Yeah. I mean, he's very general stuff, isn't it? So I think that in some ways might be worse.
Just sit there going, brushes, are they great?
Well, yeah, but that's almost... but he is almost like that. He's almost worked. Yes, he has a very sort of dry humour, as it translates well to video, as VJ says.
Yeah. I feel like his humour appeals to both, I think, Americans and English. Us Brits, Oz, American, it's a bit more universal, whereas some people's humour or style of presentation is much more American or much more British, and that can put up other people's backs, which is, it's just the way it is. Some people like certain things, so it's about getting that generic appeal about something. Andy puts a massive amount. Massive.
Yeah, I need to watch more of his. I haven't watched him for ages. I think I've watched him since he went full time, as it were.
I don't see very much of what he produces. I don't know if it's because he puts a lot in Patreon rather than YouTube.
Right,
I don't see a lot from him, but it could be that I'm not following him. Who are we talking to? We're talking about Andy from Blackjack. Is it Blackjack Legacy? I want to say.
Yeah. He covers a wide range of games, doesn't he? That games I know nothing about.
Yeah. That seems to be the key, though. Is talk about a lot of games, but don't concentrate on any one of them. I
just feel maybe that's where his preparation comes in, because I just feel like an imposter when I try and do that. I feel like unless I've played the game a lot, I don't feel qualified to comment on it. I'm trying to research Soulbound so that I can run some videos on that, because I think actually the game is really very good, and I think they're doing lots of interesting stuff for the lore of AOS. I don't know how don't know where it dovetails with the GW design process, but it's for me. I think I've talked about this before, but for me, it's the reason I fell in love with the old world is because people like Graham Davis were building that outwards from their Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay games, and Emmett and the team are going to get cramp. Ow.
You've got the wrong chair, haven't you, Robin?
I haven't got.
Now we're going to get a lovely shot of Robin's midriff. What everyone wants to see.
I'll put my Stormtrooper review. Ow.
Let's just be grateful that Robin's camera isn't any lower. So yeah, I'm not sure that's better.
It's definitely live. Oh, I've got a halo there. Here, Emmett Byrne and the team there have done amazing stuff with the Soulbound. But the pain in my leg is driving out the words. But the stuff there. So I'm going to hopefully do some videos on that soon. That's what I was going to say. I'm just going to stand up. I'm just going to go for a walk. So you talk to the fans, Pete, and I'll be back in a second.
Cool. Let's get the guy with laryngitis to talk to people. Awesome. So, I mean, we're probably always going to stick with what we know, and that's going to be things like Necromunda and Underworlds and Blitz Bowl and maybe a bit God tier, because that looks pretty easy to pick up. There was some talk about, we got a copy of AOS 3 Dominion. Are we going to cover on the channel? Probably not, because it's time and it's effort, and also we'd probably be quite shit at it. I don't think anybody wants to. I mean, we're quite shit at Underworlds, so maybe that won't make any difference. So, but it's just one of those things of trying to get 30, 40, 50 models painted up for an army is a much bigger challenge than getting 6, and even that's fairly insurmountable for us.
Yeah, I've tried to paint my Soul Rage. It's like, oh God, I've got to do this again. I'd really like the models for Dominion. I'd love to play. It's where this coming not having a job comes in. I'd love to play it, or at least try and play it, because I have to say, when I have started to play AOS, I then haven't enjoyed it because the rules, I feel like let it down. But I'd love to give it a go. But we do need to play some Blitzball, and we should just for VJ.
Well, we've got
play Necromunda. Yes, I think so our recording schedule is, we keep saying we're going to record God tier and then not doing it.
Yeah.
We played 2 absolutely cracking games of Warhammer Underworlds last week, where you replayed one of the matchups that was in straight out of Shadespire. We did the Reapers versus the Sepulchral Guard, and I think the game was 28-23 or something in the straight out of Shadespire game. We scored similar amounts of glory in both games. And they were 2 absolutely cracking games. So looking forward to sharing those. And then, so we are going to play God tier this week. We'll try and play 2 games of God tier this week. And then the following week we'll play Necromunda, I think. And then the week after that we'll play the Soul Raid. Is that right, Pete? Or are we going to play Soul Raid next week and then Necromunda the week after? But Necromunda is coming.
Soul Raid?
Is that what they're called?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. I see what you mean now. I'm trying to work out what you're talking about. I thought it was a game.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've not heard of this game. Yes, that warband.
I have actually got a game that's called Soul something, which I need to try and play.
Soul something. It's a really
Soul
generic
something,
game.
yeah.
We could always possibly play a game of God tier and then a game of Blitzball maybe, although we probably want to save Blitzball until we actually get Blitzball 2,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I want to get God tier. I want to get the God tier ball rolling actually, because I'm quite excited about that.
I'm not sure it's going to be a very big ball though. I think Necromunda's a much bigger ball for us.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like God tier will be a better game, or at least a different game. We'll have this endless debate, Pete and I, over whether we should whether we should play games that people want to watch or games we want to play. Striking a balance between it. I don't know what our max audience for God tier would be, but it would certainly be smaller than the max audience possible for Necromunda.
Pajamas Gagarin says also Blitzball in our performance should be something to watch. Our Blitzball games have been pretty good. In fact, I think we recorded a couple of Blitzball games on TTS that never actually made it out at the end because TTS just looked so much worse. And And
I enjoy playing those. Do they make it? I mean,
I can't
I
remember.
didn't
if they did
notice how much notice I played at the take of the channel.
I'm not saying anything. I'm going to stay on that. I do feel that things like Underworlds and Necromunda definitely hit a sweet spot for us. We enjoy playing it, and there's a decent amount of interest in it. So I feel like AOS, we would very quickly lose any interest because it would be a case of this week we're going to play the same two armies again, and everyone's going to be like, I don't care. I stopped caring. One of the big challenges that we want to try and maybe get over this year is once we get the studio set up, of course, is trying to get more people into said studio, which would be great. I think the game against John, we had John in a couple of weeks ago. That's obviously already landed in Patreon land, and then John's game will be coming up on YouTube this week, which I think is the Dread Pageant versus the Skelly Boys. So I think getting more people in. John's just turned up as well. Speak of the devil, and he turned.
Hello, John.
So that game's coming out on YouTube this week, and I think more people we can get onto into the studio will make things even better for us.
Yes, absolutely. This game is called Soul Raiders, and it's like a co-op adventure type game. So I'm going to try and play a little game with our friend Stu, and we'll put that on the channel. But it's coming out on Kickstarter in July, so that's it. Has Soul in the title, so I'm just going to go get it. It's just sitting over there waiting for me to get around to reading it. I'm quite looking forward to playing that, the narrative game.
Pajamas Gagarin said he couldn't watch TTS games, it seems so unnatural. I can appreciate that it wasn't as good as our tabletop stuff, and Morph says that Blitzball actually worked and is worth watching on TTS. I feel again, because there weren't actual models, there were those cutout things, I didn't like the visuals as much because of that, but it's still a great game, so I'm looking forward to getting that.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
So particularly we play halflings versus
Gits.
Well, you played. I played the halflings.
Gits.
The halflings were great.
Halflings versus Gits. That was what I liked about Blitzball, is that you can pick up a team, and it's not like in Blood Bowl where some teams are just definitely a hell of a lot worse, like halflings. In Blitzball, most of the teams, they've all got, some are a bit better than others, but it's like the halflings are one of the more overpowered teams, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, they were really fun. John says it's self-serving, but other people coming to the garage will help with our viewings. Yeah, probably right. If we can get some of the big names of Underworlds, well, maybe not, but maybe if we get some
people,
just anybody really.
Human
if we get some people in, it'd be really great. I think we will definitely try that once the studio's built and restrictions are properly relaxed. Then we'll definitely do that.
Somebody said about a Venn diagram. They've come up with a Venn diagram of.
You need to find the Venn diagram where we want to play and people. Oh, it's just got off the screen.
Where people want to play.
You wrote something, Pete, and it scrolled off my screen.
You need to find the Venn diagram where want to play and people want to watch it overlap. I think we've got that with, especially Necromunda and Underworlds. Underworlds less so because it's a much smaller game. Necromunda's a much bigger game. If we really want to attract a much bigger field, I think we'd have to go to something like AOS or 40k, but we don't have the setup to actually make a name for ourselves.
We don't really want to play that big time either. Whereas Underworlds, I really love playing.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe I will when I play it more. We were just getting going and then we had to stop. Necromunda, I quite enjoy the games, but I don't really love it yet. I would play Underworld's fun with other people, but I'm not sure Necromunda I necessarily would. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Maybe I will, because I was enjoying it. One thing I like about Necromunda is a bit sillier, so you can do daft things and not worry too much about.
Necromunda's a bit more storytelling as well.
I find the competitive element of Underworlds gets the better of me sometimes.
I think
it's almost like in Necromunda, like Underworlds. I find I got frustrated last week because I just couldn't do anything, and then but Necromunda, when it feels like when you can't do anything, you just do something stupid, and it might come off. So I find it's a bit more fun in that respect.
VJ's asking about my chance of being available for Blitz Bowl this weekend.
You're never available.
I'm not 100% sure how my weekend's going to shape up as yet, VJ, but I'll let you know nearer the weekend, hopefully. Sorry, my life at the minute is just 100% mental all the time, it seems. Just running around all over the place.
BJ and just discussing how him and Mike are going to run off with their money.
Well, there is that. There is an aspect of trust here, but I think we can trust Mike. So yeah. John
Armies
Growls
versus Despoilers drop.
this Friday.
Friday? Yeah.
It's this
Friday
Friday.
on Patreon, presumably.
No, it's already out on Patreon.
The Despoilers one.
Oh, the spoilers. Sorry, yes, that'll be on Patreon this Friday. Although that might be a
Yeah.
Patreon only game. Because
No, we should put John on the channel.
Well, I did wonder. So yeah, maybe we'll put that on there as well.
Let him have his moment of fame for all 200 people watching. No, definitely that needs to go out. I think anybody who comes to the garage, all their games need to be on YouTube.
Possibly.
I reckon. Probably shouldn't have discuss strategy in front of everybody.
To be honest, it's not like we're going to have guests in every week, so we'll have plenty of time to be able to do other stuff as well.
Yeah.
But John Gagarin said we could start a Path to Glory thing, which we did moot for a very short period of time, but then when we actually looked into it,
Well, I mooted it and you said no.
well, I pointed out all the reasons why we don't do it in the first place, which is time and scenery and painting. You should put your trains on, head out more. You're being very lazy.
We need to get Andrew in.
Yeah.
Not Andrew. Well, Andrew would be good, but we need to get John in. John with all his painted armies. And get John in, painted armies, different voices, and just recording playing, just doing different voices, playing himself.
We just put lots of different funny looking outfits on him, like a monocle and a fake mustache and stuff.
It's got to work.
I can't see any.
I feel like we're getting towards the logical end of this evening.
It feels like we've hit.
When we start talking about getting patrons to impersonate other players, it's probably time.
To be honest, I think we hit the logical end to this about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, you might be right. Next week, those of you who are left, we are going to draw the winners of the Orc box.
The winners of the Head Crackers and the Silent Menace card pack.
Silent Menace, yes. So that will be on the channel next week, and then hopefully something else will happen in Warhammer Land so that we can talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, there's not going to be anything Underworlds related, I think, next week to talk about, because it's all come out, so we're going to have to find something else. Yeah. So if you're watching this afterwards, do post things in the comments below. Let us know what stuff you'd like us to talk about.
Yeah, Marlo, give us a list of questions.
Yeah,
you have a week.
I mean, anybody, once we do get the studio set up, anybody who wants to come to the studio, we are going to start putting shouts out on Patreon to see who wants to come along and what we can organise. To those who are a bit further away, such as Matt and Loz, there is a place nearby where people can stay as well, isn't there? So we don't mean by Robin's house. The garden. What's
on the Dominion box, Robin? That's a bit late. There's not really time for that now.
God.
It's a lovely box if you're going to play AOS. I think that'd be my observation.
I think it's a must, isn't
it? The rule book, it's lovely. The lore in it's quite interesting. I haven't read it all, or indeed very much of it, but it's quite interesting, the bits I have read. And it's everything Indomitus was, but for Age of Sigmar. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what happens with the new models going forward. But I've no idea how the nuts and bolts work.
Mr. Moore says he's coming to the studio next time he's in the UK. Well, that might be a while off yet with COVID, but when you're here, do let us know.
Yeah, definitely. Even Pete has to travel further than That's true. John lives closer than Pete does. So yeah, maybe you would do a channel with John.
First you insult the beard and then this. You tear
up to save you travel time, we can send you the files.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. But to be
it's
fair,
our chemistry, Pete. You can never take away our chemistry. Jarmus Gagarin is in Germany. Double problem.
Is it a double problem? I mean, not that far away.
I guess there's COVID in two directions.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, there is that problem. So
I'm
I can
meant to be
see.
going to Germany in August. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, my end of July, beginning of August holiday's just been canned, I think. So yeah, it's not great. Hopefully we're getting close to the end though.
Yes, yeah.
I can definitely see us
Right.
getting John in much more often though, seeing as he lives so very close.
Yeah. He can play the Adeptus Flyplanicus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we might try that on the channel at some point.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, well, I think our ramblings have probably hit the sweet spot to try and call it a night
I'm
there.
not sure it's safe to sit down here. You know, bizarrely, I was thinking, oh, my leg hasn't cramped for a while. It must be getting better. But there we go. That was wrong.
What can you do? Right, well, everyone stay safe in these hopefully rapidly diminishing COVID times.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we'll see you all soon.
Yeah. See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.